Man, I feel like every time I turn on this camera, I'm sick. I'm sick at what happens in these games. Baltimore loses to Buffalo. Lamar can't get over the hump, and it's not necessarily all on Lamar. And I know that Mark Andrews drops a 2-point conversion. And again, I am sick for Mark Andrews. But Baltimore loses this game because of turnovers. You have to take care of the football. You have to. Your two best players, your two glue guys in Baltimore. You got Lamar, even though he had a pretty good game statistically, he throws a pick and he fumbles the ball that leads to points. Okay. You have Mark Andrews that fumbles the ball and then drops a 2-point conversion. And these are your guys. These are Baltimore guys. These are the glue of your organization. And you come up short because you can't take care of the football. And again, just like we said in the Houston Texans game versus the Kansas City Chiefs, you cannot make mistakes against quality teams in the playoffs. You can't do it. You cannot do it. And Baltimore loses. I know we're gonna put it on Mark Andrews, and I get it. With all that being said, with the turnovers, with that, you still had a chance to tie this game, and this game deserved overtime, and it deserved the opportunity. Actually, you know what? Josh Allen gets the ball back, ladies and gentlemen. If he catches that ball, game's not over. Game is not over. There's over a minute left in this football game. So who knows what happens? And I hate that it came down to, I wish we would have got to see that, because then we don't look at Mark Andrews and he has to deal with this, and it's going to be on his conscience, on his football conscience for probably forever. And I hope that he gets another opportunity to do this again. But there's another a minute plus left in this game. So we have no idea what happens with Josh Allen if he gets his ball back. We probably assume, even though he didn't play that, I mean, the numbers weren't crazy today, that he still turns back into Josh Allen. We probably assume that. Just like Lamar turned into Lamar. When it was time to put the cape on, he put it on. But the reality of the situation is that you don't have to put the cape on. You don't have to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Okay? You don't have to go save the city if you don't turn the football over. And that's the situation that Baltimore's in. And we can sit there and we can blame it on Mark Andrews. We can if we want to. I understand it. I hope that we don't. Mark Andrews is part of the glue of this organization, as we said. He just had a rough day. He had a rough day. The guy had 2 drops all year and had 2 drops today and a fumble. I think it's the second fumble that he's lost in his career ever. So again, like we talked about in Detroit, he just picked the wrong day to have a bad day. It was just the wrong day to have a bad day for Mark Andrews. And it was the wrong day to have a bad day for Lamar, in the sense that he had 2 turnovers and one leading to a touchdown and to points. You can't have it. You cannot have it against good teams. And I feel bad for Baltimore. I would have liked to have seen them tie this game up. And you know what? If Josh Allen goes down there and scores in a minute and a half, then you know what? You tip your cap to him and you say, you know what? I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you on that. Okay, if you go to overtime and somebody gets the ball first and you go down and score a touchdown, or if you kick a field goal, the next team goes down there and scores a touchdown, you say, hey, you tip your cap, cool. That's good. But when you lose like that, when you lose on a drop to tie the game, it's so gut-wrenching, man. It's so heartbreaking. I just hope that Mark Andrews is able to recover from this. But again, before we start blaming him and saying, listen, it's all about the drop, which he should have caught, by the way. He should have caught it. No doubt. No doubt. He should have caught that ball. That is a all-pro caliber tight end, one of the best in the league. He catches that ball 9 out of 10 times. And this was the one time that he didn't catch it. This is the one time. But before we go there, we have to go ahead and look at all the other turnovers that we had. The 2 turnovers by Lamar and the previous turnover by Mark Andrews. Because if you don't have those, then again, you may not have to put the cape on. And you can just go ahead and win this football game. You can just go win the football game. And you don't have to do it by everybody flashing a bat signal in the sky and saying, come save us today. You don't have to always do it that way. So Baltimore needs to take the next step and say, listen, we have to be a team that when it's crunch time, that when it's the playoffs, that when all the stakes are there, when everything is pushed to the table, when we're all in, when this is it, we have to play mistake-free football. We have to be the more disciplined team. We have to be the team that doesn't have silly turnovers. Okay, we're the team that creates turnovers. They have to go ahead and mature into that team with Lamar Jackson. And I believe they will. I believe they will. But a tough loss for Lamar, man. I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna sit here and say that Lamar was the reason why you lost the game, because you still had a chance to tie the game. Okay. But the turnovers did not help. But I don't want to put this in a game as where I say that Lamar didn't show up, but we have to be real and say, listen, the turnovers by him were a factor. They were a factor in the game. And the turnovers by Mark Andrews were a factor, and the drop was a factor. So we'll just go ahead and chalk it up and say, listen, man, you had a chance to win, but you're arguably, I will say Derrick Henry's probably your second best player, but you're two glue guys, you're two all Baltimore guys, arguably your two best players on the team. Just they had a couple mistakes in this game that you couldn't overcome. And unfortunately, Lamar goes home with another L, but I do think this is a lesson learned, and hopefully this is a maturing situation that the next time and next year they come in this. But again, this is professional sports now. This is professional sports. There isn't always a next time. There isn't always an I'll be back. That's why you always have to take advantage of the opportunities that you have, because many of professional athletes have said we'll be back, and they've never been back. Now, do I think Baltimore will be with this team? I do. But again, buyer beware. You've been warned. Many of athletes have said we'd be back, and they haven't been back. What we're seeing in Kansas City is not normal. That is not real. What you're seeing in Buffalo trying to go through Kansas City, that's not real. That's not the reality in sports. Okay, so although I do believe Baltimore will have another chance at this next year or in Lamar's prime, and I hope that they do, you have to take care of the situations and opportunities in front of you. You just do. And the Baltimore Ravens, although we may say that Mark Andrews is the reason why, he was part of the reason, but the reason why the Baltimore Ravens are not successful, are not victorious tonight, is because they turned on the football and they were careless with the football in crunch time. And that's as simple as that. And you can't do it, and you can't be that way to be a Super Bowl caliber type team. Okay, just can't have it, can't do it. What do you say? Can't win with them. Can't do it. Can't do it. Hats off to Buffalo. They go to Kansas City, and we'll see Baltimore regroup. And man, listen, Mark Andrews, keep your head up, man. You are again an All-Pro caliber tight end. You're one of the best to ever do it. You're one of the best in the league right now. Nights like this happen, and it was just the wrong day to have a bad day. And unfortunately, in sports continues to teach us that our superheroes are sometimes human, man. They are sometimes human. This ain't the movies, and they do make mistakes. And unfortunately, it just wasn't their night tonight. But congrats to Buffalo. They go on to Kansas City, and we'll see how that goes. But Baltimore, I'm sick for you, man. I'm sick for you. We out of here. Peace.